Hey everyone, this is episode number 15 of the Something 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 Show, and I'm your host Andy Wood. For those of you that are not familiar, this is a show where I talk about comic books and gaming. When it comes to comic books, I'm going to attempt to pass along some comic book news that you may or may not know. I'm going to tell you about what I've been reading, or my read pile, and then I'm going to tell you what's coming out new this week. And since I'm a gamer, I am again going to pass along some gaming news that you may or may not know, and then I'm going to tell you what I've been playing. Comic book code, comic book code, comic book code. Alright, so this is the part of the show where there's going to be a comic book title. It's going to be around here somewhere. And there's going to be a code. It could be a Marvel title. It could be a DC title. And what you do is you're going to go to one of the links down below, where you can redeem the code and get a comic book, a free comic book, so you can read it. So it's a comic book, which is cool. It's free, so it's really awesomely cool, and that's doable. I can combine those two words. And it's yours. So triple cooler. So let's get into some comic book news, shall we? Now, I haven't really spoken to this. I don't think I've said it on any of the shows, but I've been telling everyone at the comic book shop that Marvel's timeline is shot to all hell. I'll be honest with you. I mean, the X-Men storyline that's currently going on, it's got time traveling all over the place. In fact, when Marvel, a couple years ago, when they started the new Marvel Now, the first thing that happened in the Avengers was that someone came from the future to the past, or to the present, excuse me, grabbed the Avengers and said, hey, we need help with your kids. So it was like a Back to the Future sort of thing. I think I might have spoke to that. But there's time travel going on everywhere. So the whole timeline is so convoluted, it's so broken, it's snafu, it's foobar. So, starting in January, Marvel has got a whole new batch of Marvel Nows coming on, or what they're referring to as the all-new Marvel Now. And this is what's coming out. There's going to be an all-new Ghost Rider, starting with issue number 1. All-new X-Factor with Peter David is going to be the writer. There'll be an Iron Patriot, so this was kind of like War Machine, but not really War Machine, since he's not War Machine anymore. He's Iron Patriot. Silver Surfer, written by Dan Slott, who's the current writer of Superior Spider-Man, so I have high expectations for this. Now, here's where things get a little goofy. When I mean goofy, that's that foobar stuff, alright? Superior Spider-Man 27 now actually becomes Superior Spider-Man number 1 All New Marvel Now. That is quite a mouthful. Thunderbolts number 20 now becomes, you've guessed it, Thunderbolts number 1 All New Now. Captain America number 16 now. Come on, that's right, Captain America number 1 All New Now. An all-new X-Men 22 now becomes, you see the pattern here, right? It becomes the all-new X-Men number 1. They're not doing it to every single title. Avengers AI number 8 becomes AI Avengers, or it becomes Avengers AI number 1 all new now. So I think that after these current stories that are happening, they're going to try to tie up some loose ends, hopefully. And all those titles don't all start in January. It kind of spreads out between January and March of 2014. So Marvel's got a little bit of shakeup coming up, and we're just going to have to wait and see. Continuing with the comic book news, this is kind of a short little piece, kind of a bummer. This week's Aquaman number 24 is the second to the last issue that Geoff Johns is writing. So he's going to be writing all the way up to issue 25, and that means he will be no longer writing Aquaman, which is a real shame, too, because when they announced over 2 years ago now that DC was going to do this huge new renumbering, I wasn't that optimistic. I knew some titles were going to be pretty strong still, but when Aquaman was coming out, and to be honest with you, I wasn't even reading Aquaman forever, and so I had no idea any of the history. But since this was like kind of a new, fresh start, I started reading it, and Geoff Johns really restarted Aquaman. It was exciting, it was fresh, it was fun, it was serious, it had all the elements you needed in a comic book to keep someone alive. In fact, I've been reading it on a regular basis and have been thoroughly enjoying it, but now with him leaving, I'm just wondering if the new creative team is going to be able to keep up the momentum and stuff, because that's what keeps people reading titles, is when you have a creative team that has a certain consistency or a momentum or a flow. That's what people latch onto. And sometimes it comes down to that when it comes to comic book readers, that they like a certain style. And when you do a change-up like that, sometimes people don't like change, even nowadays. And the last tidbit of, I guess it could be kind of comic book news, because there is a comic book, but this isn't really related to it. Anyways, I digress. It would appear that the official teaser trailer for the Doctor Who, the Day of the Doctor, has been revealed. So after months of anticipation, the BBC finally released the first trailer for the 50th anniversary special edition of Doctor Who, which, by the way, will be on November 23rd on both TV and also in some theaters and in 3D. However, there was no footage, no new footage. So, still, at least there's a date, and that's something the Whoverians are going to be very happy about. Comic book code, comic book code, comic book code. All right, so if you missed the first one, here's your chance to grab the second one. People are pretty quick at this, so you have to be sharp, quick. You can hit the pause button, write down the number, because sometimes they're pretty long. And so anyways, it's the same song and dance. You use the redemption codes down below, or the redemption links down below. You grab the code, you go to the link, redeem it, you get your comic. You can download it with, either to your phone, to your tablet, to your PC. Yeah, I guess that's where you download it to. I don't know where else you might download it to. So anyways, hope you enjoy that. So now we're going to move on to my read pile. And I've brought some selected issues. So I've actually read quite a few titles. I think I read close to 12 titles this week, but I only want to highlight 4, good and bad. So just to keep you in the how and now, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, first up is Forever Evil Arkham War, which is a tie-in to the current DC arc called Forever Evil. Makes sense. Reading this was familiar, and that's kind of a bad thing, because it had like some essence of No Man's Land, Batman or Dark Knight Rising, and a lot of Bane. So for me, it just seemed like its own story, not really tying in. So for me, it wasn't a tie-in issue. But the next one I want to talk about there, Forever Evil Rogues Rebellion. Now, if you've been keeping up, the Rogues are actually Flash's nemesis. And they actually have superpowers now versus gadgets that have super abilities or have abilities. This issue was really good. This was awesome. It was bad guys, which is the Rogues Rebellion, kind of being good because they don't like the world being ruled by bad guys. So they're being rebellious. This actually seems like a tie-in to me, because it's going to show how this Forever Evil arc isn't going to be so evil after all. So that was pretty good. Secret Avengers number 9. In this issue, basically, Daisy Johnson is trying to come to terms that she's no longer in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. And it had a bunch of political references, and hey, Marvel, that was boring. So, Secret Avengers, not a fun title. Now, the next title I want to bring up, I have been just loving this. Dan Slott, of course, Superior Spider-Man, again, rocks. This is the conclusion of Superior Spider-Man versus Spider-Man 2099. And, of course, Spider-Man 2099 came back from 2099 to present because, well, all this time travel that's going on now is mucking things up in 2099. However, once they fix once they kind of plug a hole that was causing a lot of the problems, the people in 2099 strand Miguel O'Hara, or Spider-Man 2009 in the present date. So I really don't think this will be the last time we see the two web slingers slinging webs against each other. So, anyways, that was my read pile. Comic book code, comic book code, comic book code. So this should be the third, 1, 2, 3. Yes, the third comic book code. I usually try to get 3 or 4 of them out there. And again, same deal. You're going to see a code. You take it to the link down below. You redeem it. You get the comic. It's free. You're happy. I'm happy. Everyone's happy. It's like a big party. But I'm not there, and you're not here. So, well, it could be a party, I guess. So what is new for comics October 23rd, 2013? Aquaman 24, like I stated before, this is Geoff Johns' second to last issue for his writing. Arthur, or Aquaman, has been told that he is the king of the 7 seas, but he's about to find out exactly what that title means. Daredevil number 32, The Man Without Fear, is trapped in a nightmarish situation. In Iron Man 17, we have the conclusion of the secret origin of Tony Stark, and it's supposed to be mind-blowing. In Rat Queens number 2, it's all about gold, guts, and grog. Part 2. Someone wants to kill the Rat Queens, the girls are seeing red, and there's only one thing to do about it. Get really, really drunk. Comic book code, comic book code, comic book code. Alright, this is the 4th code, and it's going to be the last code because I only got 4 comics that I've read that have got codes. Here, anyways. So, you know the deal. Or if you don't, okay, and you're brand new and you're just catching this code, grab this code. You can pause the screen, and I'll probably have a really goofy look on my face. Here, wait. There's a goofy one. You didn't have to pause. Anyways, grab the code, redeem it down below. You get the title. Comic books are cool. It's free. You get free. We all have a free comic. Not all of us. Anyways, it's cool. Into the gaming news we go. And I apologize. I have my notes here on the screen, so I may be looking up and down. So, Ubisoft, or Ubisoft, however you pronounce it, announced just in the later half of last week that Watch Dogs is going to be late. So that means it won't be releasing for the holidays, for one. It's going to be in 2014. So that's bad because Watch Dogs was part of pre-orders for PlayStation 4 and for Xbox. But so far, every single retailer, Amazon, Sears, Best Buy, GameStop, they're all honoring the pre-orders in one way or another, whether they give you an option of another game or they just reduce the price to offset the cost of the game. However, there's one retailer that went the opposite way. They're canceling the pre-orders, and that would be Target, which, by the way, I didn't even know did pre-orders. And I don't think I would do a pre-order through Target for a next-gen console. So, I read today that the Battlefield 4 beta is concluded. So, for those of you that were invited and you were able to download it and you did some patching, you did some playing, was I invited? Yes, I was. Did I download it? I surely did. Did I play it? You bet I did. Am I going to get it? Nope. Didn't like it. It was boring. There was too many effing people. It was laggy, which I know is a beta. Don't get me wrong. I think I'm just going to wait. I mean, I own BF3, and I've played a little bit of it. It's just that for me, a first-person shooter like this, unless I'm playing with some people I know and we're on Vent or Mumble or something like that, it's just too random. So I didn't have fun. I mean, the game was pretty awesome itself, but I don't see myself plopping down my hard-earned money for a game where I can't collaborate with some friends. And I have a couple, so don't even go there, okay? A couple shows ago, and I don't know exactly which one, I talked about this beta that they didn't even have any. The only video they had were it was like a free flow or free flight mode showing terrain. It's a Korean-based or Korean created, sorry, don't mean to offend anyone, called Black Desert. Well, it's officially gone beta. There's a website that has a lot of published information called Stepperoo, and I'm going to put the link down below too. They did a very extensive preview with a lot of details from the game too, and this thing for a beta looks done, in which I know it's a beta, but still. They have clips showing combat, group play, dungeoneering, pretty much everything you would say. They have they show the animation for their when you're climbing or scaling, and it almost looks like Assassin's Creed, kind of, pretty darn close. So that's kind of impressive. But there's no details yet for, is it free with microtransaction, if it's monthly or anything like that. So anyways, I'm going to put the link down below. What I like about this game, what I read, if they keep it, is like it's one of those things where you're going to have a lot of player-created real estate, like homes or clubs or other stuff like that. That's what they're saying anyway. So I'm looking forward to that. We are real close to the release of the next-gen consoles, and I'm going to talk to that just a little bit more. I'm not picking sides or anything like that. I just want to say that when we went from PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3, from Xbox to Xbox 360, that was an upgrade. That was a jump, because you went from a standard definition to high definition. The PlayStation went from their system to where you could have a Blu-ray player, or it came with a Blu-ray player. The Xbox went another route. They went the HD TVT, and later on that was defunct anyways. So anyways, going to these consoles, not only was it, a new system, a stronger system, but it was like a generational leap with technology, with gaming, all new experiences. But these consoles that we're currently playing on have been out for almost 10 years. 8 years, if I do the math right. So you've had these consoles for 8 years, and the games are awesome. They're full of like beautiful graphics. They're the adventures, the downloadable content to on-go your experience. I'm not really complaining. I mean, I fell victim to one red ring of death with an Xbox, but they have since fix that, and I haven't been reading about it. And then of course the PlayStation had like an entire month to where their PlayStation Network was down. So no one is without problems. So again, I will not be hopping on the first adopters bandwagon with either the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One, because I think 2014 is going to be a very interesting year, not in console wars, but where do people do their gaming? Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, what console do you have? Some people got both. That's great, because, there's always the exclusives on one side versus the other side. Again, for those that might be wondering, I have an Xbox monetary attachment, I guess is the best way to do it, even though, Sorry if I'm not clear on this, but the Xbox 360 had, or still has, a lot going for it. And at first it looks like kind of the lifeline, the thing that I like about being a gold membership. Even though they get it with the PlayStation, it's a little different. And I like the Xbox's deal better, and I'm talking about the free games. Now with PlayStation, if I understand correctly, you get the games, but then you have to pay for the DLC. On the Xbox, you don't. You get the games. You don't get as many games, but if there's any DLC attached to it, you get it for free. So, you have to pick your battles and judge away if you want. Anyways, I don't think until it's going to be till March or April of 2014 when the games that are only next gen are going to be coming out, and then there's going to be, another run on the market, so to say. But, here's what I think. Console war, as they're saying, I really don't think it's between PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Sony, or Microsoft, because I think there's other battles. For instance, Steam. All right, they just announced their Steam OS and their consoles coming out, their gaming consoles, and a lot of people might dismiss it, but basically, is what it's doing is it's taking the PC gaming experience and putting it on your big television, which you can't really do right now. And sure, if you think about it, I don't want a game on my couch with a keyboard and a mouse. So some of the games that are going to be controller based are going to be really cool, but still, it's competition. And more so if Valve, and I think this is what they're gearing towards, if they exclusively release like another Left 4 Dead or Portal or Half-Life, and it's only going to be on the PC, that's going to take a huge chunk, or a pretty darn big chunk, away from those other two markets. So, you know, and plus also on the PC, there's the free MMOs you can't get into on a console. Plus there's the whole browser games out there, which again you can't do on a console. So, you know, it's not really a console war. I think it's more of a gaming platform war, because again, going from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4, you're not going to get any much richer graphics. Even the same thing with the Xbox, going from 360, the graphics just, even though they got new architecture, it's not going to be that more awesome. So, anyways, I think is what we got here is, and plus you got the, how do you pronounce it, the UA, the independent thing, that was a Kickstarter. So a lot of competition in there. So, that's all I got to say about that. Now, as we move towards the very end of the show, I talk about what I've been gaming. And I think everyone has been very tired of me talking about Batman Arkham City. Well, guess what? I'm not playing it no more. I can't beat what I'm at, and I don't want to break a controller. So I have stopped playing Batman Arkham City, and have moved on to State of Decay, which I would like to announce in this show. I finished. Yay! So it took me a week. It's not released on the PC, but you can get into the early access. It's and they just released a patch on Thursday or Friday, to where it enables the keyboard and mouse. So if you get into the early access, you can use keyboard and mouse. They fixed a lot of stuff, but I was still playing with the, I was my Xbox, and it was still very playable. I have links coming that will show you all my State of Decay gameplay. Excuse me. I liked it. It was fun. And there were some things that were extremely annoying, and I make it very obvious what was annoying. However, I'm done with that game. So what am I playing now? For the next week at least, I'm going to be playing Borderlands 2. I know it's not a new game. I bought it during the last Steam sale, and I tried it, and I just couldn't get into it, and I think it's because I had too much on my plate. So I've started playing Borderlands 2. I think I've started a Commando. I don't know if that's a good class or not, and I don't even think I'm out of the tutorial yet. I recorded like 30 minutes. I've only played 30 minutes. And because basically by this time next week, the new Batman game will have been out for at least 2 days. So I'll be into that. I'll be throwing up videos, and I'll be very excited and telling you guys about that. And in addition, there's this game that looks really scary, and it's kind of post-apocalyptic. That's a word. I can say it. It's my show. It's a horror survival kind of game called Nether. And I've seen the in-game stuff. They have a live action trailer, but I've bought me an early access, and that goes live October 31st. So I may not be doing any trick-or-treating, and I might make my house dark so I don't see any trick-or-treaters, which might be really scary since this game looks really scary. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the show for this week. I hope everyone liked it. I want to thank everyone for their continued support, and the encouragement is just overwhelming. All the emails I get from great show. I really like what you did here, and then even some good criticism too. Which, it's not like, oh, your show sucks. You're bald. Why don't you shave your head? You're so shiny. Whatever. No, it's been the kind of criticism where I say, hey, Andy, that one segment you did this, you talked so fast I had to watch it twice. And yes, when I get excited, and I'm still nervous in front of this camera, so I think it's going to be that way for a while until I can get real comfortable with what I'm doing, try to get the timing down. So the encouragement and the support, thank you everyone for for all the positive pat on the backs and the hugs over the internet. Thanks. I also, all the comments that you guys put, I read them all. I just want you all to know that. And I really try to reply to them all. And I believe I have. And if I have not, I'm really sorry. And hopefully, if I did this correct, and this is going to seem really dorky if I didn't do it right, if you want to check out the past shows, there should be the videos along here. Also, some of my gaming videos should be available. You should be able to see a nice big button to subscribe if you're not already. And a link for my Google Plus profile. So if you want to follow me and send me messages through Google Plus. And also, if you guys can do me a favor, if you like this video and you think of any of your friends that might like it, pass it along to them. Share it. Send them a link. I would really enjoy it, because the more people I get into the show, the more feedback I get, and hopefully the better I can make this. And you could always say, hey, I knew Andy win. Well, or not. So, and don't forget, keep reading comic books, and next Wednesday is what? That's right, new comic book day. Every single Wednesday, new comic book day. So you guys have a great week, and I'll see you right back here. Oh, really? You think so? You think that was pretty smart? Oh, I was a genius. Brilliant, even. Well, it was pretty... And that I'm handsome? You went way too far. Now I know you're just lying. No, forget it. No, you should have... You had me at genius, okay?